have to say that the view out of my balcony looking over Denver, it really is something I've wanted to enjoy for a very long time. Well, for art lovers, the long-awaited Van Gogh Alive experience has finally come to Denver. It's an immersive view that completely surrounds you in brush strokes and vibrant color. With more, John Ickenberg, Executive Director of Broadway and Cabaret. Well, this is an exciting time. Van Gogh Alive. What makes it feel truly alive?
I believe the experience has a certain motion and movement to it as the audience experiences the entirety of the exhibition. There is large-scale moving projections of the works of Van Gogh. That is also synced to a really gorgeous musical score. And the room is set up in a way that the audience moves through different spaces. So I feel like there's a sense of motion to the entire experience, and thus I would really say it does feel alive.
That sounds extremely unique and certainly something everyone should try out. You know, this is not traditional art exhibit. It's not a traditional art exhibit, I'm sorry. But can you give us an example of that experience?
Sure. I think what is so fun is the surprise that the audience feels when they come into this really large room with the projected images of Van Gogh that are also projected alongside some other video to give context. So rather than having sort of a static experience of the work, there really is this sort of sweeping movement to it, as I just mentioned, and some little surprises where folks enter different rooms in different spaces and actually are able to step inside the work, shall we say.
Neat. Okay, so there's a lot of aspects of Van Gogh that truly go beyond his work. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Absolutely. One of the things that I think is such a great dimension to the work is there is a lot of text and educational learning about the different things that influenced Van Gogh, the different phases of his career and his life that give great context. There are also a replica of Van Gogh's bedroom that he painted that the audience can actually physically step inside. So it's not something just to be viewed, but something they can look at as well. And also at the end of the experience, there's this really stunning sunflower room, which is just a burst of color and an ability for folks to immerse themselves in the beauty of Van Gogh's sunflowers.
I love that you guys have made it interactive and it just sounds like something I would love to do. Where is Van Gogh Alive happening and when?
The experience is currently going on at the Hangar at the Stanley Marketplace in Aurora, and it runs Tuesdays through Sundays now through September 26th.
Okay, so we've got plenty of time to go and check it out. What is the best way to get tickets?
The best way is definitely going to the Denver Center's website, which is denvercenter.org, and you can pick up your tickets for any future date right there.
Okay, and I have to ask you, which part of this entire experience made the biggest impression on you and why?
Well, my answer might be a little unique to that question. I think something that stands out for me is what an amazing family experience this is. I see children as little as 2 or 3 having so much fun in the experience, looking at the beautiful works, as well as folks older who do have knowledge of Van Gogh and his work. So I think not only young people, but those really of any age with any sort of background on Van Gogh can have a completely different experience. It can be beautiful, it can be educational, it can be meditative. So I really love the fact that it brings together a different experience for anyone who chooses to come and participate.
I think that's very motivating. Something like this, we should all experience it. Thank you so much, John, for a great interview today.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Van Gogh Alive is presenting through September 26th at the Hangar in Stanley Marketplace. For tickets and information, go to denvercenter.org. You can also call 303-893-4100.